Okay, welcome to our political science class, session number 1 today. Today we know that we have 4 classes, 4 sessions are there. Okay, so maximum time we want to utilize today for finishing this chapter. Okay, so this chapter is important because we already studied the important aspects of the term rights. Okay, from political theory. Okay, part B textbook. Okay, one particular chapter is there termed as rights there. We already studied the importance of the term rights. Okay, and how rights are helpful for a citizen to lead a dignified life in the society. Clear? We studied that already. We know that the basic aspects of the term rights there, how it is important or why it is important. Okay, the next one we are going to study here in the textbook part A. Okay, that is Indian Constitution at Work, the second chapter, rights in the Indian Constitution. So we know that almost all the governments in the world, they are always trying to protect the rights of its people through rules and regulations in the Constitution, through provisions in the Constitution, right? Okay, provisions are there. So in Indian Constitution also, there are number of provisions are there to protect the protect the rights of the people. Okay. So already we studied that in junior classes. You might have heard about this fundamental rights, importance of fundamental rights, how many fundamental rights are there, why they are so important for we people to lead a good life in society, like that. Various things we already learned in the junior classes there. So I am taking you directly to the textbook. Okay, just open your textbook, everyone, and here it is. Okay, chapter number 2, rights in the Indian Constitution. Rights in the Indian Constitution. So here it is. First of all, we are going to discuss about two case studies. Okay, by discussing that easily you will understand what is the importance of rights. If rights are not protected, okay, what will happen to an individual in the society? Is that good or bad? Good or bad? Okay, here the importance of rights. In 1982, during the construction work of Asian Games, in the government engaged a few contractors. These contractors employed a large number of very poor construction workers from different parts of the country to build the flyovers and stadiums. These workers were kept in poor working condition and were paid less than the minimum wages decided by the government. So, can anyone tell me what kind of right is breached here? What kind of right is breached here? So, for the Asian Games, the government give chances to some contractors to construct flyovers and stadium. The contractor used some poor workers and made them to stay in poor working conditions, okay, or staying conditions. The same time paid very low wages for them. Less than the minimum wages prescribed by the government. What kind of right or what right is breached here? What happened here actually? Tell me. Anybody? One more chance for you people. Just read the paragraph. First paragraph, and tell me the answer. Make it fast.
They were not provided enough wages for their work.
Pardon?
They were not provided enough wages for their work.
Okay, so what kind of right is breached? That's what the question.
Right to their minimum wages.
Right to minimum wages is not considering as a fundamental one, right?
Right against exploitation.
Right
against exploitation.
Definitely, yeah. So Grishma Jeshu is somewhat closer to that. Grishma. Okay, actually, yeah, the thinking is correct, but okay. So the thing is, what is that here? What happened here? That is right against exploitation. If the contractor is not paid the minimum wages that are guaranteed by the government, is the kind of exploitation, right? Yes or no? It's a kind of exploitation. Okay, physical exploitation. Easily we can say that. So one right is breached here, that is a right against exploitation. Okay, so what happened here? The constitution will take care of the people or not? That's what the thing we are going to discuss now. Okay, here a team of social scientists. So the word is here, social scientists. Who is a social scientist? The persons or the group of people, they are studying about the human beings, right or not? Their working conditions, their existence in the society. Such kind of people are basically termed as the social scientists. Social scientists. Okay. So social science is a subject, right? You know that, right? Social science. Clear, it is not social studies, but a social science. Okay. How many subjects are there in that particular wing called social science? Any idea? You might say only 4, right or not? What are they? What are they? That is economics, political science, history, geography. Again, many are there coming under this particular stream called social science. A homework for you, just write down, find out the subjects that are coming under the stream social science. Social science. Number of other sciences also are included in social science there. What are they? What are they? But as per our curriculum, we are studying only 4, right? Okay. Let it. Just observe it, find it. Okay, come back. The team of social scientists studied their poor conditions. Okay, low wages for them and their working conditions are not good. Okay, the facility to live also not that good there, and petitioned the Supreme Court. This social scientist petitioned to the Supreme Court related with the problem of this workers there. They argued that employing a person to work for less than the minimum prescribed wages. Minimum wages, we know that. If a government is fixed a minimum wages as 250, it is the responsibility of the employer to provide a minimum 250. Clear or not? Not less than that. Okay, minimum 250 wanted to provide to the worker. Okay, so they argued that the employing a person to work for less than the minimum prescribed wage amount to beggar or forced labor. So, an employer is providing only a wage less than the prescribed minimum wages. Here it is 250. Less than 250. For example, it is 240 and also considering as a beggar or forced labor. Beggar or a forced labor. Don't think it's not beggar, beggar. Okay. Beggar or a forced labor. Which is a violation of the fundamental right, that is right against exploitation. Okay, what is that? Right against exploitation, because we are utilizing a particular individual, okay, is a potential, is ability we are utilizing, but not paying, okay, as per his ability or as per his work. Okay, here the court accepted this plea, this petition, and directed that government to ensure that thousands of workers get the prescribed wages for their work. Okay, so Supreme Court ordered, the government wanted to take care, the government wanted to provide the prescribed wages for the workers. Okay, when it is in the year 1982, okay, Asian Games, clear? Okay, next one, another condition. So, right against exploitation is a fundamental right. It is the duty of the constitution or duty of the courts to protect that right. Next one, here, Michael Lalung, okay, Michael Lalung was 23 when he was arrested, a resident of Chuburi village of Morrigan district of Assam. He's from Assam. Okay, Michael was charged of causing grievous injuries. Okay, so he was charged of causing grievous injuries to someone. He was found mentally too unstable to stand trial and was sent as under trial to Lokpriya Gopinath Bardoli Mental Hospital in Tejpur for treatment. Okay, clear or not? One person, he was arrested by the police, but he is unable to attend or stay properly in the trial because mentally ill. He is mentally ill, right? So the court sent him to a mental hospital or a mental asylum, okay, for treatment, because the court will not conduct a trial for a person those who mentally ill, because he is not unable to understand what is going on in the court there, right? So we'll send him to a mental hospital for treatment. Okay, so Michael was treated. So here Michael or Machal, whatever it is, okay, was treated successfully, and doctors wrote twice to jail authorities in 1967 and 1996 that he was fit to stand trial. Okay, and under treatment, the doctors wrote to the jail that he is able to stand for trial now. He is okay. But no one paid any attention. But no officials give any attention. Okay, so Michael Lalong remained in judicial custody, right? Clear or not? Not in the jail, but in the judicial custody under treatment. So Michael Lulang was released in July 2005. He was 77 then. Clear? So he was arrested when he was at the age of 23. For that many years, he is in the judicial custody, not in jail. Absence of trial there. Okay, because court cannot give him a punishment or cannot make a decree or a judgment because he's mentally ill. Okay, but doctors wrote to the jail that he's okay, but no one give any attention to that letters there. He spent nearly 54 years. Listen, almost his lifespan he spent in the jail there under custody, during which his case never came up for a hearing. So no one called his case for a hearing there, no trial. He was freed when a team appointed by the National Human Rights Commission intervened after an inspection of the trials in the states. Okay, so because of the activity of the Human Rights Commission, finally after the 54 years he became free. He became free there. So you understand that if he arrested for a crime, what is that crime there? Causing grievous injuries, right or not? So the murder also, the lifetime sentence is a maximum 14 years, right? Yes or no? If a person committed murder, in Indian constitution, the maximum punishment, it's a capital one, or else 14 years of a lifetime sentence, right or not? But he spent nearly 54 years without any trial there. What is your answer? It is a problem of judiciary, or is that a problem of clerical errors, or is that a problem of the jail authorities? Tell me. Or what kind of right is breached here? Come on, think and say. What kind of right is breached? Come on, fast. What happened? A person, he simply spent nearly 54 years in one jail. I mean, judicial custody, not in jail, judicial custody actually. Okay, so what kind of rule or what kind of right is breached? Come on, fast.
His right to life.
Yes, definitely. His right to life. One more.
Right to constitutional remedies.
Not exactly the constitutional remedies. Okay, constitutional remedies in the sense if the rules are making any problem for the citizens, we are able to attend. But here not the rules there. Okay, but something else. What is that? Right to? You know what is that? Liberty is there, right or not? Right to life and right to liberty, right? So that person, he was under judicial custody for 54 years. His right to life is breached, right to liberty also breached, right? No freedom for him, right? Under judicial custody, under judicial custody. Okay, just observe here. Michael's entire life was wasted because of a proper trial against him never took place. Okay, there is no proper trial. Our constitution gives every citizen the right to life and liberty. Right to life and liberty. It means that every citizen must also have the right to fair and speedy trial. Okay, fair and speedy trial there. Okay, whatever it is the crime. So you already studied that. What is that? Related with the rights there. So a person, whoever he is a murderer or an antisocial element, whoever he is, human rights should be protected, right? Human rights should be protected. So it is important here. Everyone, those arrested by the court, I mean the police or the state, he need a speed and a fair trial. Fair trial. If he is committed crime, want to give the punishment or else want to leave him. So there is a quotation or a comment is there related with the Indian Constitution. Delayed justice is denied justice. Heard that? Okay, what is that? Delayed justice is a denied justice. So it is important. A speedy trial is necessary. So Michael's case shows what happens when rights granted by the Constitution are not available in practice. Okay, so the rights that are provided by the Constitution is not in practice related with the Michael's case. Okay, so right to liberty and life is breached. In this case, the first instance also there was violation of rights provided in the Constitution. The first case, violation of the rights. What rights is breached there? We know that. What is that? Right against exploitation. Right against exploitation. But it was challenged in the court. As a result, workers could get that was due to them in the form of their rightful wages. In the Constitution, So the first case, workers they fought. I mean, with the help of social scientists, they got their wages. But what is the problem with Macaulay here? He already wasted his 54 years there. Okay, because of the lack of the judicial trial there. So can he get those years back? No chance at all, right? So it is important. Rights are too important. We want to act very quickly. The constitutional guarantee of the rights against exploitation ensured justice to these workers. So think here, the second case and its remedy is not mentioned in the textbook, right? Clear or not? Understand? But if you are thinking so, we are able to understand. Okay, it is a mistake that done by the authorities. Okay, so he wasted almost his life there. So no remedy is mentioned in the textbook. That is up to you people. You want to think about that. Okay, it's a very problematic condition or situation. Next one, Bill of Rights. Both these examples show the importance of having rights and of the actual implementation of these rights. A democracy must ensure that individuals have certain rights and that the government will always recognize these rights there. Okay, so each and every individual in the society, they have some rights and they have the right to have that one. Okay, a democracy must ensure that individuals have certain rights and that the government will always recognize these rights there. So in a democracy, it's a responsibility of the government to protect the rights of the people. Sorry. Therefore, it is often a practice in most democratic countries to list the right of the citizen in the constitution itself. So in almost all the democratic countries, we are able to find the list of constitutional rights that are provided to the citizens. Such a list of rights mentioned and protected by the constitution is called Bill of Rights. So underline that. What do you mean by the term Bill of Rights? Okay, the list of rights that we are able to find in the constitution and protected by the constitution is basically termed as the Bill of Rights. Underline that. A list of rights mentioned and protected by the constitution is called the Bill of Rights. Bill of Rights. A Bill of Rights prohibits government from thus acting against the rights of the individual and ensures a remedy in the case there is a violation of these rights. So this kind of bill, I mean the Bill of Rights, that prohibiting or making the government to stay away from the rights of the people or will not allow to trespass the rights of the people. Clear? Understand? The constitution will not allow the government to trespass the rights of the people there. So people have all what we can say that 100% rights are there to enjoy them. Okay, from whom does a constitution protect the rights of the individual? The rights of a person may be threatened by another person or private organization. So here is the question, from whom does a constitution protect the rights of the individual? Clear? Okay, the answer is simple. The rights of a person may be threatened by another person. So one person in the society can create a problem for the another one related with his rights there. So right against exploitation, we learned that. The contractor created the problem for the workers. Clear? So one person can create problem for the others related with the rights there. Or the private organizations. Private organization can create problem related with the rights there. In such a situation, the individual would need to protection of the government. Okay. So a particular individual is creating problem for another individual, or a private organization is making problem for the people. Okay, definitely they can approach the court or the government, that and government want to protect the people. It's their duty. So it is necessary that the government is bound to protect the rights of the individual. On the other hand, the organs of the government, legislature, executive, bureaucracy, that means the judiciary, in the course of their functioning may violate these rights of this person. Okay, so chances are there. On the other hand, the organs of the government, the legislature, executive, bureaucracy or judiciary, in the course of their functioning may violate the rights of the person. Chances are there here. Even the government organization or organs of the government also sometimes will violate the rights. Clear? Number of cases are there that the government created problem for the people. Okay, so we are going to discuss all those such kind of things there. So now you know that what are the importance or what is the importance of rights. Clear? What is the Bill of Rights? Bill of Rights there. Okay. How the democratic government is protecting the rights of the people. Next one, we are going to discuss about the fundamental rights in the Indian Constitution. The fundamental rights. So we are going somewhat speedy here because we already learned all these things. So you know that what are these fundamental rights, its importance, right? So moving fast, you can see one caricature. I get it. The Bill of Rights is like a warranty card that we get when we purchase a TV or a fan, isn't it? That's what the question here. Okay, it's almost like a warranty card. That warranty card protecting us from other individuals, other organizations, or even from the government. Okay, so fundamental rights in the Indian Constitution. During our freedom struggle, the leaders of freedom movement had realized the importance of rights and demanded that the British rulers should respect the rights of the people. Okay, the Motilal Nehru Committee had demanded. So here, first of all, understand here, during our freedom struggle, the leaders of our freedom movement, they came to know the importance of this, what you can say, rights there. And they demanded that the British rulers should respect the rights of the people. And they demanded the British government, that time the British government ruled our country, the British government respect the rights of the people in India. Again, the Motilal Nehru Committee had demanded a Bill of Rights as far back as in 1928. It was therefore natural that when India became independent and the constitution was being prepared. Okay, so in the year 1928, Motilal Nehru Committee that was appointed by the International Congress to study about importance of rights and demand that to the the British government. Okay, that committee in 1928 they wrote to the British government to respect the rights of the people there. So after independence, when our country or our Constituent Assembly created a constitution, they wrote the importance of rights in that constitution. Okay, so 1928 onwards, that idea was there. That's called to be the importance of rights there. So two opinions on the inclusion and the protection of rights in the constitution. The constitution listed the rights that would be specially protected and called them fundamental rights. Underline that. Okay, what are the fundamental rights as per the Indian Constitution? Clear. The constitution listed the rights that would be specially protected. Okay, special protection needed for such kind of rights, they are basically termed as the fundamental rights. Okay, specially protected by the government. The word fundamental suggests that these rights are so important. Underline, the word fundamental means these rights are so important that the constitution has separately listed them and made special provisions for their protection. The fundamental rights are so important that the constitution itself ensures that they are not violated by the government. Okay, so write a question there. What are fundamental rights? How the constitution protected the fundamental rights? How the constitution protected the fundamental rights? Answer for the question is here. Next question. What are the difference between the fundamental rights and the other rights? What are the differences between fundamental rights and the other rights? Another question right there itself. Okay, so if you notice there also, sorry, in the absence of notes also, you are able to find the question and answer there. Okay, clear. So what is that? What is the difference between the fundamental rights and the other rights? The answer is the third paragraph. Fundamental rights are different from other rights available to us, while ordinary legal rights are protected and enforced by the ordinary law. So ordinary legal rights are there for we people, right? Legal rights are there. Clear? Okay, that is protected by the ordinary laws. Okay, ordinary laws means common laws and regulations. But fundamental rights are protected under fundamental rights are protected and guaranteed by the constitution of the country. Okay, it is protected by the constitution itself. Ordinary rights may be changed by the legislature by ordinary process of law making. So ordinary rules and regulation can change by the legislature. Clear? So the legislature is powerful to create or make changes in the ordinary rules and regulation. It can do that. Clear? But fundamental rights are protected by the constitution. No legislature is able to change it so easily. Okay, but a fundamental right may only be changed by amending the constitution itself. So if you want to make a change in the fundamental rights, want to make a change in the constitution first. Clear? Understand? This is the difference between the the ordinary laws and ordinary rights and the fundamental rights. Just observe here carefully. So ordinary rights may be changed by the legislature by ordinary process of lawmaking, but a fundamental rights may only be changed by amending the constitution. So besides this, no organ of the government can act in a manner that violates them. As we shall study below in this chapter, judiciary has the powers and responsibility to protect the fundamental rights from violation by actions of the government. Executive as well as legislative actions can be declared illegal by the judiciary if these violate the fundamental rights or restrict them in an unreasonable manner. However, fundamental rights are not absolute or unlimited rights. Government can put reasonable restrictions on the exercise of our fundamental rights. So, constitution protecting the fundamental rights there, right? Even no government is able to breach or function against the fundamental rights of the people. If it is so, we are able to approach the courts directly against the government, if fundamental rights is breaching by them. Okay. However, you want to understand one thing there. What is that? Fundamental rights are not absolute rights. They are not absolute rights. Clear? You are unable to enjoy these things as in its extreme. Extreme rights are not existing anywhere. Right? So some restrictions are there. So we already studied the positive and negative aspects of liberty. Studied or not? Yes. Okay. Some restrictions are necessary. Restrictions are necessary. If there is no restrictions, people will utilize that for their own self-interest. It will create a number of problems in the society. So restrictions are there for the rights also. Okay. The right to speak and expression, I already told you that. You cannot do that like that. Okay. Like that in the sense they are unable to use those kind of rights against other individual. They also have the same rights. Okay. One man's freedom and it's a no step of the other person. That's what the thing you understand here, right? Clear? That's what the limitation for our freedom, okay, or our rights there. So next one, the same page number. So not the same one. Just to go back, page number 29. Bill of Rights in the South African Constitution. So Bill of Rights in the Indian Constitution, we will study that up. And in South African Constitution also the same things are there. What are they? The South African Constitution was inaugurated in December 1996. Its creation and promulgation took place at a time when South Africa still faced the threat of civil war after the dissolution of the apartheid government. So the British government gave powers to the newly elected government in South Africa, but they faced a problem called a civil war, the fight between two different groups in South Africa. The South African Constitution says that its Bill of Rights is a cornerstone of democracy in South Africa. So Bill of Rights is considered as a cornerstone of democracy. Clear or not? For South Africa. It is so important for them, it seems. It forbids discrimination on the grounds of race. So the rights forbids or prohibits discrimination on the grounds of race, gender, pregnancy, material status, ethnic or social origin, color, age, disability, religion, conscience, belief, culture, language and birth. Okay. So these many things are there. So people want to unite irrespective of all these things there. It grants perhaps the most extensive range of rights to the citizen. A special constitutional court enforces the rights enshrined in the Constitution. So a special constitutional court is there to protect the rights of the people there. Some of the rights included in the Constitution of South Africa, they are the right to dignity, the right to privacy, right to fair labor practices, right to healthy environment and right to protection of environment, right to adequate housing, right to, so here, right to adequate housing in the sense it is a responsibility of the government. Clear? If there is no houses are there, it means it is a responsibility of the government to construct and give that to the people. Because it's a fundamental right, yes? Yes or no? So it's a fundamental right, it's the responsibility of the government or the state to protect it. So right to adequate housing in the sense, if one person says that I don't have house, so it is a responsibility of the government to construct and give that. Right to health care, food, water and social security, right? Food, water and social security, so responsibility of the government. It is children's rights. Right to basic and higher education. Right to cultural, religious and linguistic communities. Right to information. So these are the things, these are the fundamental rights under South African Constitution. South African Constitution. So can you find any of these in the Indian Constitution and the fundamental rights of India? Any of these things? Anyone? Right to dignity is there or not? Huh? So can we find that right to dignity is our fundamental right? No. Right to privacy? No. Right to fair labor practices? No. Rights are there, so ordinary rights there, but not mentioned as a fundamental one. Right to healthy environment and right to protection of environment? Not at all. Right to adequate housing? Not at all. Okay, right to health care, food, water and social security? Not at all. Children's rights? Not a fundamental right, right? Next one, right to basic and higher education. Right to education is there, right? Right to culture, religion is there, right? Right to information is there, but not a fundamental right. Okay, we already studied about RTA, Right to Information Act. Okay. So moving back here, check your progress. Compare the fundamental rights in the Indian Constitution with the Bill of Rights in South African Constitution. Make a list of rights that are, we did it, common to both of the constitution, available in South Africa but not in India, clearly granted in South Africa but implicit in the Indian constitution. Okay, so right to property is a law, something like that. Okay, in the beginning stage, for several decades, it was a fundamental right in India. What is that? A right to property, right to property. Okay, but the government came to know that it is not that possible to provide property for everyone. Okay, if property is not there, the people can approach the court against the government. So they made a change in that. They amended the constitution and made that as a civil right. Clear? Not a fundamental right. Not a fundamental right. Clear? Okay. Now we are going to study about all these fundamental rights individually and independently. Okay. So here in the in the South African Constitution and its rights, so Bill of Rights related with the fundamental rights, number of rights we will learn here, and some rights are there in the Indian Constitution, fundamental rights are in the Indian Constitution, having the same meaning almost what we read here. We want to understand that. Okay, want to find it out and tell me that. Okay, right to equality. Okay, so come here. Right to dignity. Any relationship is there? Any relationship is there? Equality. All are equal before law, right? Everyone have the same rights are there related with the rules and regulations. Okay, equality should be there. No discrimination on the basis of gender, class, sex, or religion or community based discrimination is not necessary. That's what equality says. Clear? So that all creating a situation to lead a dignified life in the society. Right or not? Right or not? A respectful and dignified life in the society. So almost the same meaning, right? Okay. Any doubts are there? Want to ask something? No. Okay. Consider the following two situations. These are imaginary situations. So we are going to discuss about two different situations here. But similar things do happen and can happen. Do you think they involve in a violation of the fundamental rights? We are going to read about the two situations here. First of all, you want to find out that what kind of right is breached here. Is that violation of the fundamental right or not? Swadesh Kumar is visiting his village. He is accompanied by one of his friends. They decided to have a cup of tea at the village roadside hotel. The shopkeeper knew Swadesh Kumar but asked the name of his friend to know his caste. After this, the shopkeeper served tea to Swadesh Kumar in a nice mug, while his friend was given tea in an earthen cup because he was a Dalit. Okay, is that against a fundamental right? Tell me, what is your answer? You got that? Got that? Okay, tell me, is that what kind of fundamental rights breached here or violated
Right
here?
to equality.
Of course, a right to equality. Right to equality is breached here on the basis of caste, right? Okay, caste discrimination. Caste discrimination is not that good here, right? Okay, so right to equality is breached on the grounds of caste here. Okay, next situation. An order is served an order is served for newsreaders of a television channel that they would no longer read the news on screen. They are all women The reason given is that they are above the age of 45. Two male news readers above the same age are not barred from the presenting the news. Presenting from the news. Come on. Is that any fundamental right is violated here? There any discrimination or something?
Right to equality itself.
Right to equality, okay, fine. What kind of thing is breached here?
Gender discrimination.
Definitely, yeah, gender discrimination, correct. Right to equality, that related with the gender discrimination. Okay, here 4 news readers are there, right? Clear? Okay, and the order is issued because they would no longer read the news on screen. They are all women. The reason is they are above the age of 45, right? That's what the reason here. But really, we can see there are 2 male news readers are there. They both the same age, above the 45. Okay, and not barred from the preceding news means clearly it's a case of gender discrimination. Gender discrimination against equality. Against equality. So, right to equality, right? Clear? We want to accept everyone irrespective of class, creed and gender. Even culture, language, religion and everything coming under that, right? All are equal. That's what the idea here. Right to equality and make everyone to lead a dignified life in the society. Okay, now we are moving to the Constitution of India and the fundamental rights. Okay, so Constitution India, we are able to find these fundamental rights in the part 3 of the Indian Constitution. Part 3 of the Indian Constitution. After completing this class, you should understand what are the fundamental rights and its meaning. Clear or not? Clear or not? And where it is applicable, if someone is violating these fundamental rights, what can we do or what we want to do? Clear? Want to understand that clearly? Clear? Okay, so we will go on, we'll come to the next class. No time up here. Okay, guys. So next class we will start with this particular area of Constitution of India, the fundamental rights. That's part 3. There are 6 rights are there, right? That is called to be the right to equality, the right to freedom, the right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, right to constitutional remedies. Clear? Understand? These are the 6 fundamental rights and have clear-cut meanings. Okay, where it is applicable, we want to understand that clearly in the next class. Okay guys, bye, thank you. We'll meet in the next one.